A boy goes toward his house and sees the horse crawling for his life. He notices a wire stuck in the horse's body and then visions a man facing nightmare. The boy pulls out the wire and both his hands get injured. The horse dies on the spot and a swarm of crows roam over him. Later, Shelly receives a call from her friend Zadie who tells her to see the video clip. Shelly sees the clip, which makes her upset. Zadie asks her to leave the apartment with Dom and we will leave this place now. At Zadie's apartment, Marion is waiting for her with the black man. Marion watches the video clip saying you have other chances and the man injects her. Shelly knows that something is wrong and leaves a message to Dom. She hides the phone and leaves. Outside, Wickham sees Shelly and starts chasing her. Shelly moves fast and accidentally collides with two cops. Wickham hides and the cops find drugs in her bag and arrest her. We see Eric taking a shower with various tattoos on his body. Eric is at the Serenity Park where some boys are making fun of him. Eric remains quiet and seeing his hands, he visions saving the horse and his mother shouting. The doctor gives hope to the people at the center to leave addiction and move forward in life so that they can forget their pain and quit drugs. After that, Shelly also arrives at the center and Eric watches her. The man introduces a young protege from Vienna to Rogue. Rogue says that he is also from Vienna and he listens about her playing skills. Before he can know more, Marion arrives to burrow him. She tells him they found Zadie. Rogue confronts Zadie and asks, she tells him I don't know where she is, and Rogue says I have killed many innocent people like you to keep my deal with the devil. Zadie stops him from doing so, but he has to send the souls of innocent people to hell. He recites a demonic spell in Zadie's ear, causing her to kill herself. He cuts his hand and puts it on her blood to interact, and his eyes turn black. During lunch, Shelly joins Eric to talk and he tells her you can't sit with me. Shelly says I know but something takes me here and Eric tells her you have a nice tattoo. The guard arrives and takes him away for the group session. The next day, after taking the rehab lecture, Shelly finds her sketch in Eric's room. While they are talking, the guard announces about Shelly's visitor. Shelly is afraid as she doesn't have any visitors and panics after seeing her mother and Marion. Eric sees them and tells her that they are like lawyers. Shelly becomes afraid and Eric takes her to the laundry room. He removes her tracker and asks her to escape, but then he also removes his tracker and they both escape from the center. They take the lift and arriving in the city, Shelly leads him to her apartment. Eric asks her what about next and she says we'll stay here for some days and then find another place. They kiss, have sex, and then take heavy drugs to enjoy their freedom. They enjoy a couple of days and nights together. Detective Milch finds Zadie's dead body in a lake and informs Marion. Rogue is listening to the piano playing by the young girl and is interrupted by Marion's phone call. She informs him about the situation and he tells her to finish it by herself. Eric plays the piano while Shelly is singing and he asks her to play. Shelly starts playing in visions and stops. Eric takes her outside and she tells Eric that I hurt people, but Eric comforts her saying he will never leave her. After that, they go to the club where Dom arrives and tells Shelly about Zadie's death. Dom asks her to leave with him but she doesn't want to leave without Eric. Shelly and Eric reach the apartment where Rogue's people attack them. They cover their mouth with shoppers and kill them in cold blood. Eric finds himself in the water and dives to save Shelly but she drowned. Eric comes out from the water and sees a man, but the man ignores him. Eric follows the man and finds himself in an abandoned subway station where crows are sitting all around. He asks the man where is he and the man tells him you're chosen to make things right. Eric doesn't understand and he pulls him back into the water. Eric reawakens in the real world. He calls for Shelly but only finds her clothes and remembers the moments they spent together. Milch arrives to find the cell phone and after seeing Eric alive, Milch attacks him. The pair fights and beat each but before Milch shoots him Eric stabs him. Eric is badly injured but his wounds heal quickly. Eric goes outside and sees Shelly on the bridge standing to jump. Shelly doesn't listen to him and jumps and Eric jumps too. Eric again finds himself at the subway station and asks the man why he is here and Shelly is not. The man says when humans die Crow takes their souls toward hell and heaven and they are between. The man says in your world someone has made a deal with the devil to send innocents to hell for eternal life. Eric understands that Shelly is dead and the man tells him to kill that man, and in return, he and Shelly will be alive again. Eric agrees and the man pushes him into the water. Eric goes to his friend in the real world and asks for the gun. The man gives him a gun and Eric leaves to find the demonic group. Eric meets Shelly's mother. She takes him to her home and tells him to stay away from this business. Eric says I loved her and I want to kill every one of them and then I'm gonna bring her back. Eric then checks Shelly's room and finds her letters and old photos. He arrives at the Rogues building and finds the driver. He asks him for the names. The driver is shocked to see him alive and attempts to shoot him but Eric shoots him first. As he fires at Marion, the driver hits him and he gets into the car. He kills some guards but fails to get Marion. He falls and the truck runs over him. Eric crawls, his leg is crushed and he fixes the bone painfully. Eric rubs a black color on his eyes and all around his face to look more dangerous and fearful before he leaves to hunt. Rogue goes to Sophia's house and asks her about Eric. She tells him that the boy wants to kill you and then he will bring her back. Rogue is quiet for the moment and Sophia cries to see Shelly's photos. Rogue tells her that you get power in return, but she says it is a curse. Rogue whispers demonic words in her ears, compelling her to jump out of the window. He calls Marion and tells her to find Eric as the power to escape death exists within him. Dom runs out of town and is caught by Eric at the subway. Dom says his name is Rouge and one night we were partying and he changed everything with his evil power. Dom says I took a video of him from Shelly's phone and that's why he wants to kill us. Eric asks him about the phone and he tells him Shelly hid it to keep us safe. Eric goes back to the apartment and memorizes every moment with her. He finds the cell phone and watches the video. Rogue whispers evil words to Shelly and she stabs her friend. Eric proceeds to hunt down and kill Rogue and his men while the Crow is following him. He comes to his friend and tells her that Shelly did something very wrong and didn't tell him. The man asks him, what if she told you, would you still love her? Suddenly, Rogue's man arrives to take him. They shoot his friend and as Eric tries to escape the man shoots him too. Doubting his love for Shelly, Eric loses his ability to heal and is again killed. Eric emerges at the railway yard and asks Kronos why he stops healing. Kronos says that your love should have been pure but you made a mistake and missed the opportunity. Eric says that I never doubted her and Kronos tells him that her soul is now in darkness. Eric asks him to exchange his soul with her and Kronos says you can't exchange souls, but the Crow's circling him. Seeing this, Kronos cuts his and Eric's hand to give him the power of eternity and Eric's eyes turn black. Kronos says now you can move between worlds and asks him to end the wrong things. Redefined Eric emerges from the dead and brutally kills Rogue's men, and reads a chat from the man's cell phone with Marion asking them to meet at the opera. Eric arrives at the opera and starts killing the guards. They shoot him and stab him but he doesn't care and kills every one of them. Marion informs Rogue that he is here and Rogue betrays her saying we're in this together and I keep you at the front. Eric moves toward Marion and her guards open fires at him but he doesn't care and splits his head. He confronts Marion and asks for Rogue's location. Marion is afraid too much and gives him the location. Eric asks her why you killed us and she says you're not a part of it, but then you swallow it. Eric cuts her head and then takes the two heads to the stage and throws them into the public. People run out and he sees Shelly's soul smiling. After this, Eric reaches at Rogue's house and puts a sword at his neck. Rogue says killing me will not bring her back because his soul is in the darkness of hell. Rogue manages to subdue Eric and attempts to steal his powers before Eric is able to transport them both to the afterlife, where he quickly finishes Rogue and saves Shelly's soul. After a brief reunion between the lovers, Shelly is revived on the night of their deaths and mourns for Eric after Kronos, disguised as a medic, tells her that he gave his life. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos.